Hello everyone and welcome back to the next part of Villager Trading Castle. You can see here that I've basically worked up the left side of the castle, and it's a slightly different design to the one that we were building last stream. This one here is a zoom in, and we're using blackstone slabs in addition to the netherrack materials. I've taken out the cobblestone elements because I thought the darker elements seem to contrast the stone a lot better, and it probably connects with the roof a lot better. You can see here this is kind of my design, splitting it up into three components and then having these blackstone slabs panning around the building. Each floor has a balcony on each side, so this is if you had an elytra you could fly away and then fly back on top of this in a survival world. This in turn allows you three separate floors, so you could have separate bedrooms. You could make this with multiple people, or you can have double height spaces within. But you can see here this is kind of what I've built, and I will try and work up the surrounding of the castles because it takes a lot of time to get the materials, the netherrack, the blackstone and everything from the nether, and try not to make sure that I don't die. You can see the towers and all the roofs are basically done, the frame of it, and it's just doing this little bit of detailing that will go around the building. But you can see here that we're going to have to build a sort of central element on this wooden component in the middle, but that will probably be done at a later date because I'm not sure how that will look. Looking at here, you can see that I basically go to each side and change the materials up using blackstone stairs upwards and downwards, and then netherrack on top of it. This leads to a 2-block high opening, which is the entrance to the floor. It's just it gives you a kind of idea of some sort of detailing, but it also allows you to have a larger space within this 8-block high element inside. You can see here this is basically the stair core coming around here, and then there'll be probably another trading hall above this, but we're going to have to work that up later down the line because the towers constrict the size, so it won't be as big as the floors below. And I want to try and make sure that the redstone and all the components work, but also make it look slightly different to the floors below. Panning over here, I will show you basically how I built these sides. They were all done in survival on my Twitch stream, which you can head over to twitch.tv/tadsjazz, and you'll be able to see me doing a variety of survivor builds on there, in which they're a lot further advanced than these videos. You can see here just working on these walls, how I basically will work up these components. Each side has a similar design that's replicated around, but you can see the difference between the left side and the right side, and these cobblestone and netherrack, whilst the right side has these darker blackstone elements that stand out from the stone. I will just now just put some music on, and you guys can just sit and watch and see how I do this. But panning away, you can see kind of that this how the building will look from a distance, how these towers look, and it's something that I wanted to design from a distance. So when you're running around the city building small medieval buildings, if you looked in the distance, you'll be able to see these towers of this build, and you'll be able to see these black elements emphasized out compared with this netherrack walkway, which is just below. I just tried to make something a bit more functional and appealing, that you could have bedrooms and that in it, but also having a sort of building that you would fly to and from because you need a villager trading hall. Villager trading is so OP recently. You can basically get all your armor, all your equipment, so if you died somewhere, you can come back, get your armor, get your equipment, get the librarians and enchant all your gear from within. You can then trade. Some places you can trade iron from an iron farm, or you can do it from glass elements which you buy from villagers. Or if you have a farm, you can take potatoes, carrots and all sorts. So it's one of those buildings that I purposely try to design to make it important within the city, the idea was to build something really interesting because it holds these valuable villagers inside that you can trade with to get all the resources in the game. Because rather than going out and mining resources, mining wood, mining quartz and this and creating materials, you can fly in here, buy it, trade, having various different trading resources, and then build from that. So this was really important for me because this would allow me to then build my city a lot quicker using more materials that can be traded with. But coming back to the build, I will just basically show you how I've been working up the floors and how each floor is basically just a replication from the floor below, and each side is basically a duplicate rather than it being unique and kind of standing out too much. But when we go to the middle, in between these 4 towers, I will probably have to change it up because I plan to build another floor on top, so that will depend on how this design goes. Yes, we'll just kind of fade out to music again and you can see how this progress continues. Zooming in, you can see how the lighting from above is reflected down this building. This is something I've tried to emphasize in my builds, as using not too much light but just small elements just to emphasize the towers. So not only at night time would it look really interesting as a feature behind, but during the day you can see this beautiful detailing. So it's just trying to play with this, the shadows and lights, just to make it a little bit more interesting, but not adding too much light because then it would just be too overpowering at night. But you can see kind of how I worked out. I just did one side, replicate it around. I could walk around using these different slabs, kind of cut open the walls and that, and just designed it with a little bit more detail using a variety of upside down and downwards stairs, and varying this up gives that small little shadow details within the facade. Because a lot of these builds you do are just one block thick, and if you can change it with stairs and vary it up, then it looks like a sort of a cobblestoney sort of effect where there's some bricks bigger than others, and then this kind of just gives you a small bit of shadows, which if you have shaders on like these shaders I've got on, it makes it look a little bit more interesting during the day. But you can see kind of working on this tower, and this took probably about a 4-hour stream sort of thing to build the stuff, get the resources, mine it, and then construct it into this building using sort of a typical design that I used on the other tower. So this gives you an idea of how long it takes to build these towers and the detailing that goes behind it, because you can see the left tower here, I designed it and I just wasn't satisfied with how much netherrack was on it in comparison with the netherrack walkway and the netherrack roof. So adding that small blackstone element from the roof into the design kind of integrates that into as a unique tower. And that's kind of what I want to try and do, is the lower levels are cobblestone and those elements being a lighter material, and as you go up, it being higher up in the sky, there's more light going to it, and you can use that darker element to emphasize it. And it's just those little things, little details that just make this kind of stand out a bit more. You can see the towers and how they work, and in comparison to the city, it's just a completely different design because I haven't used netherrack in my other builds. Yes, it's kind of coming to the end of these 3 towers. I'll hopefully try and build the rest of it off stream, and then maybe later you'll be able to see the completed picture. But if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave me a like and any constructive comments. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys all later.